You've been eating your greens, just like the doctor ordered. But what if one of those healthy vegetables is secretly making your leg cramps worse? Yep, it's not always what you expect that trips you up. Welcome back to the channel, Hope with your writing tools. Now, I know you already understand what leg cramps are, those sudden, frustrating pains that sneak in just as you're settling down for the night or enjoying your morning walk. You've stretched, you've stayed hydrated, and maybe you've even tried a few home remedies, but those cramps still show up uninvited, don't they? Well, here's something most people don't think about. Some of the healthy vegetables you're faithfully eating every week could actually be contributing to the problem. Sounds strange, right? After all, we've been told our whole lives to eat our veggies, but as we age, our bodies change, and what once worked perfectly in your 30s or 40s may start behaving a little differently in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Today, we're going to gently uncover 5 surprising vegetables that may be behind those annoying cramps. It's best you stay till the end so as not to miss the most important part. Starting with one you've probably got in your fridge right now. Let's get into it. Number 1. Spinach. Now, I know what you're thinking. Spinach? Surely not. Yes, spinach, the poster child of healthy eating. You'll find it in smoothies, omelets, stir-fries, and fancy salads. And Popeyes swore by it, right? But here's the twist. For many seniors, too much spinach could be triggering muscle cramps, and here's why. First, the nutritional breakdown. Spinach is rich in iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium, fiber, vitamin K. It's basically a nutritional powerhouse. But there's a catch. Spinach is also very high in oxalates, natural compounds found in many plants. Oxalates aren't bad on their own. In fact, they serve some protective roles in plants. But in your body, especially as you age, they can bind to minerals like calcium and magnesium, the very nutrients your muscles need to stay relaxed. Think of it like this. Imagine you're trying to make a phone call, but someone keeps jamming the signal. That's kind of what oxalates do. They jam the mineral signals in your body. When calcium or magnesium are locked up by oxalates, your muscles may contract more easily and relax less easily. That's a recipe for cramps. Why it matters more for seniors. As we get older, our kidneys become slightly less efficient at flushing out excess oxalates. For some seniors, this can lead to oxalate buildup in the body, especially if you're already prone to kidney stones or muscle tightness. And here's another kicker. Seniors on certain medications like diuretics or calcium channel blockers may be more prone to imbalances in calcium, magnesium, and potassium. Add a high oxalate diet on top, and leg cramps can become more frequent. Take Mr. Johnson, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Florida. He was having leg cramps almost every night, especially after walking his dog in the evenings. He drank plenty of water, took magnesium supplements, and even wore compression socks. Nothing worked, until his granddaughter pointed out that he was blending a giant handful of raw spinach into his smoothie every morning. Just a few days after switching that spinach for a gentler green, his cramps started fading. Coincidence? Not quite. Now, don't worry, we're not saying spinach is bad. It still has a lot of benefits, especially for heart and eye health. But if you're dealing with chronic leg cramps, you might want to ease up on the raw spinach, especially if you're eating it daily. Here are a few senior-friendly alternatives that are gentler on the muscles. Romaine lettuce, low in oxalates, refreshing, and great in salads. Kale, cooked, slightly bitter but packed with nutrients and less oxalate when boiled or steamed. Swiss chard, in moderation, similar to spinach but with slightly less oxalate when cooked. Bok choy, a crunchy, calcium-rich vegetable that's easy to stir-fry. Bonus tip: if you really love spinach, try lightly steaming it before eating. Cooking can reduce the oxalate content by up to 40%. Just be sure to drain off the water, that's where the oxalates go. Here is the takeaway. Spinach isn't the villain, but it might be a hidden troublemaker when eaten in large amounts, especially raw. If you're having leg cramps and spinach is a daily staple, consider mixing things up with lower oxalate greens and see how your body responds. Sometimes, it's not about cutting something out entirely, it's just about adjusting how often, how much, and how you prepare it. Now, spinach might have surprised you. But the next veggie on our list? It's even more common and found in nearly every stew, soup, and sandwich. And believe it or not, it's got a hidden compound that could be messing with your muscle health. Any guesses? Stick around, and let's keep those legs cramp-free together. Sometimes, the healthiest foods come with surprising side effects, and when you're over 60, your body may not tolerate things the same way it used to. Number 2, potatoes, especially white potatoes. Yes, good old potatoes. They're comfort food royalty. Mashed, roasted, baked, or turned into fries, potatoes are on dinner tables around the world, and for good reason. They're filling, budget-friendly, and packed with potassium. But here's the twist. For some seniors, white potatoes could be part of the leg cramp puzzle. Here is the nutritional breakdown. 1 medium white potato with skin contains potassium 900 milligrams, carbs 37 grams, vitamin C, vitamin B6, a little magnesium and iron. So what's the issue? It's all about the potassium-sodium balance and how fast those starchy carbs spike your blood sugar. Why potatoes might be causing cramps. Potassium is great in the right amount. But seniors who already take medications like ACE inhibitors or potassium-sparing diuretics, common for blood pressure or heart issues, may already have elevated potassium levels. Add in a high-potassium food like white potatoes, and you can tip the balance too far. And what happens when that balance is off? Your muscles, which rely on just the right ratio of potassium, sodium, calcium, and magnesium, can misfire. That can mean cramps, twitching, or fatigue. Now, we also need to talk about blood sugar spikes. White potatoes are high glycemic, meaning they cause quick jumps in blood sugar. For seniors with insulin resistance or diabetes, that's a problem. Rapid changes in blood sugar can affect your electrolyte levels, particularly sodium and magnesium. And when magnesium dips, hello, leg cramps. Story time. Here's a quick story. Miss Clara, 68-year-old, loves her mashed potatoes with dinner every night, no exceptions. But lately she's been waking up at 3 a.m. with toe cramps that curl her feet and keep her from falling back asleep. She drinks enough water, she takes her magnesium, but when her doctor reviewed her meals, guess what stood out? You got it, those creamy mashed potatoes? Once she swapped them out a few times a week for sweet potatoes or roasted cauliflower, the midnight cramps became much less frequent. Coincidence? Probably not. Here are senior-friendly alternatives. You don't have to give up potatoes forever, but mix it up with options like sweet potatoes, still potassium, rich but lower glycemic and gentler on blood sugar. Cauliflower mash, creamy, low carb, and magnesium, friendly. Butternut squash, slightly sweet, easy to roast, and full of vitamins A and C. Parsnips or turnips, mild flavor and lower in potassium. And if you do eat white potatoes, go for smaller portions. Leave the skin on and pair them with fiber and protein to slow that sugar spike. Let me ask you something. Have you been eating any of these vegetables thinking they were helping your health, only to wonder why the cramps keep coming back? Let me know in the comments, you might not be alone. Number 3. Tomatoes. Now this one might really surprise you, tomatoes. They're juicy, delicious, and found in everything from salads to soups to spaghetti sauce. Tomatoes are usually praised for heart health, skin health, and even reducing cancer risk. But there's a little-known side effect that could be bothering some seniors more than they realize. Here is the nutritional breakdown. Tomatoes are packed with vitamin C, vitamin A, potassium, lycopene, a powerful antioxidant, very low in calories. That sounds fantastic, so what's the problem? Once again, we're looking at potassium overload and acid content. Why tomatoes might be contributing to cramps in seniors. 1 medium tomato contains around 300 milligrams of potassium, and that adds up quickly, especially if you're enjoying sauces, soups, and juices made from multiple tomatoes. But here's another factor. Tomatoes are very acidic. Some seniors, especially those on certain blood pressure medications or diuretics, may already have a slightly acidic blood pH or struggle with electrolyte regulation. Tomatoes can worsen this, particularly if you have acid reflux or kidney sensitivity. And for people prone to cramps, that acid load might interfere with muscle relaxation, especially at night when your system is trying to rebalance after a day of eating. A common trap for seniors: tomato-based pasta sauces and soups are double trouble. Why? Because not only are they high in tomatoes and acidity, they're often loaded with salt, and too much sodium, combined with fluctuating potassium levels, confuses your muscles. Your legs feel it first. Alternatives that are easier on senior bodies. If you love the flavor of tomatoes but think they might be causing issues, try roasted red bell peppers, sweet, low acid, and rich in antioxidants. Butternut or carrot puree as a soup or pasta base. Avocados in moderation. Creamy and packed with magnesium.
Zucchini-based sauces, surprisingly delicious when blended with garlic and olive oil. Also, consider reducing portion sizes and avoiding tomato juice or concentrated sauces if you're prone to nighttime cramping. Now, so far, we've covered spinach, white potatoes, and tomatoes, but the next veggie on our list is one you almost never hear people talk about in this way. In fact, it's often served raw on sandwiches or in salads, and for some seniors, it could be the most surprising cramp trigger of all. All right, you've stuck with me through spinach, potatoes, and tomatoes, but this next one, I promise you it's the most surprising vegetable on our list. It's crunchy, it's fresh, it's hiding in nearly every sandwich, salad, and veggie tray across the country. Yep, I'm talking about celery. Wait, what? Celery? That watery, harmless looking stick that people put peanut butter on? Exactly that one. Let's talk about why celery, yes. Even that innocent green stalk might be quietly triggering leg cramps in some seniors. Number 4, celery. On the surface, celery seems like a dream vegetable. Low in calories? Check. Crunchy and hydrating? Check. Easy to prep? Check. But as you may have noticed by now, sometimes what seems healthiest at first glance doesn't always play nice with aging bodies. Let's dig into what's going on here. Here is the nutritional breakdown. One large stalk of celery contains water, 95%, sodium, around 30-35 milligrams per stalk, which can add up fast. Small amounts of potassium, folate, and vitamin K, almost 0 calories. Celery is often used in weight loss diets or as a snack for people watching their blood sugar. So far, so good, right? Well, let's look a little closer. Why celery might be causing cramps in seniors? The real issue here is natural sodium content and how easy it is to overdo it without even realizing. Most seniors are told to watch their salt intake, but what we don't often talk about is how even naturally salty vegetables like celery can add to the mix, especially if you're taking medications that affect electrolyte balance, eating celery alongside other sodium-rich foods, dehydrated or not getting enough magnesium. Now, celery by itself isn't outrageously salty, but if you're dipping it in store-bought peanut butter or ranch dressing, eating salted soups with celery, or having it daily as a healthy snack, you may be accidentally increasing your sodium far more than you think. And when sodium goes up without enough potassium or magnesium to balance it out, your muscles can contract unpredictably, which often means cramps at night or after walking. Hypothetical story. Mr. Joe's sandwich swap. Let me introduce you to Mr. Joe, age 72. Every day for lunch, he had his routine. Turkey sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and lots of crunchy celery. A handful of salty pretzels. And a glass of V8 juice, great for the heart, right? Sounds pretty healthy, right? But in reality, Joe was loading up on sodium without enough magnesium, and his water intake was inconsistent. At night, he'd get cramps in his calves that made him hop out of bed and pace the room. He blamed old age. Until one day, his daughter suggested a food journal and they started to see a pattern. He swapped the celery and pretzels for cucumber slices and unsalted almonds. Within a week, His cramps had gone from nightly to rare. Here are senior-friendly alternatives to celery. Cucumber slices, still crunchy but way lower in sodium. Zucchini sticks, mild, hydrating, and easy on the kidneys. Jicama, a slightly sweet, low-sodium root veggie, great raw. Bell pepper strips, crunchy, colorful, and full of vitamin C. And if you really love celery, no need to ban it, just try to keep portions small, 1-2 stalks max per serving. Avoid combining it with other high-sodium foods. Drink more water throughout the day. Pair it with magnesium-rich snacks like pumpkin seeds. Quick tip: be aware of hidden sodium. Remember, celery is often in places we don't expect, like canned soups, chicken or tuna salad, store-bought broths, ready-made veggie juices. If you're already eating these, plus raw celery on top of that, it might be just enough to tip your electrolyte balance and trigger cramps. If this is making you go, I eat celery all the time, could this really be why my legs cramp after dinner? You're not alone. We often assume that the problem is lack of movement or aging, but sometimes it's just about small tweaks to what's on our plate. And hey, if this video's been helpful so far, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and comment cool. Tap the bell icon so you never miss another tip like this. We've got more senior-focused nutrition videos coming every week. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's next. If you're a fan of green juices, detox smoothies, or you've ever taken advice from the latest health craze, then this one's going to surprise you. Because the final veggie on our list is none other than beet greens. Yep, not the beets themselves, but the leafy tops. Let's talk about what makes beet greens so tricky and how to enjoy your greens without the nighttime calf cramps. Beet greens often come attached to the beetroot. Some folks toss them, but others saute them like spinach or blend them into smoothies for an extra nutrient punch. They're rich in calcium, magnesium, vitamin K, oxalates, and that's the key. At first glance, this seems like a superfood, right? Full of all the good stuff your muscles and bones need. But the catch is the oxalates natural compounds found in beet greens, spinach, and a few other veggies. What are oxalates? Oxalates, or oxalic acid, are compounds found in certain plant foods that combine to minerals in your digestive tract, particularly calcium and magnesium. And here's the kicker. When your body can't absorb those minerals properly, you end up with low levels in the bloodstream, and that's a major trigger for leg cramps, muscle spasms, and even bone weakness over time. For seniors especially, this can be sneaky. You may think you're getting plenty of calcium from food, but if you're eating too many oxalate-rich greens like beet tops, you may not be absorbing it well. Let's take a real-world example. Meet Miss Florence, 69, retired teacher and smoothie lover. Every morning she made a super green drink with beet greens, spinach, a banana, a splash of almond milk. She drank it daily for energy, but a few months in, she started getting cramps in her thighs and toes that would wake her up at night. Blood work showed low calcium and magnesium despite her healthy diet. Why? Turns out, all those beet greens and spinach were blocking mineral absorption. Once she reduced those and started rotating with low oxalate greens, the cramps eased up. So, should seniors avoid all greens? Not at all. Leafy greens are still wonderful, but the trick is balance. If you're prone to cramps, kidney stones, or calcium, magnesium deficiency, it's a good idea to limit beet greens, spinach, and Swiss chard. Rotate with low oxalate greens like romaine lettuce, kale, cooked, arugula, mustard greens. Boil high oxalate greens briefly, then drain and rinse to lower the oxalate content. Also, pairing greens with calcium-rich foods, like plain yogurt or tofu, can help neutralize oxalates during digestion. Practical tips for seniors: skip raw beet green smoothies daily once or twice a week is plenty. Cook your greens instead of eating them raw. Add variety, don't eat the same veggies every single day. If you take calcium or magnesium supplements, don't pair them with high oxalate foods. I guess here is where we stop for now, but before we end, here's a quick recap. The 5 veggies that could be causing leg cramps. 1. Spinach, loaded with oxalates, may block magnesium. 2. White potatoes, high in starch and sugar, can mess with electrolytes. 3. Tomatoes, acidic, and may cause calcium imbalance in sensitive folks. 4. Celery, naturally high in sodium, may contribute to dehydration if overused. 5. Beet greens, sneaky oxalates blocking calcium and magnesium absorption. Again, none of these are bad veggies. But for seniors who are already dealing with leg cramps or taking medications that affect hydration or mineral balance, these vegetables may worsen the issue if consumed too often or in large amounts. Here's the good news. You don't have to avoid vegetables, you just have to be smart about which ones and how often. Think of your body like a garden. You want to water it just right, give it a mix of sunshine and shade, and plant the right crops for your soil. That's what nutrition is, not all or nothing, but learning what works best for you. If your legs have been cramping even though you're eating healthy, maybe now you're seeing a few clues. Small changes can go a long way, especially when they're backed by knowledge and self-care. Let me know in the comments. Have you been eating any of these vegetables thinking they were helping? I'd love to hear your stories or answer questions from you or your loved ones. And hey, if this video helped you, even just a little, please tap the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget the bell icon so you get updates on more senior-friendly health tips every single week. Oh, and be sure to check out our related videos on foods that help stop leg cramps naturally. You'll find lots of easy, tasty swaps that can help you feel better without giving up your favorite meals. Thanks for spending this time with me today. You deserve to live your golden years with comfort, confidence, and strength. Here's to fewer cramps and smarter meals. You've got this.